did you end up teaching?
I had an exhibition of my work.
Okay.
And the local college, they took a group of foundation art students to the exhibition. They liked my exhibition. And he asked, would you come and do like a little talk, or maybe bring some slides and talk about your work? So I went there as a visiting lecturer, We talked a bit, and then they asked me to come again, and I came about 3-4 times, and he offered, would you like to do some part-time work? That's how I got into teaching.
And you started teaching before the awakening happened, or after?
This was just about at the beginning.
Okay.
At the beginning, when everything was new, all of this was going on.
Okay.
It was very strong in those days. Very, very strong manifestations of, this type of effect, psychic kind of effects, and things was happening more strongly then.
Okay.
Mooji, did you have the burning sensation? The burning, on Saturday when you were doing satsang, I had so much energy going through, I felt...
so many different phenomenal effects happening.
All phenomenal.
Many
everything.
All. But I was not afraid of them. I sort of welcomed it, All sort of energetic transferrings, and
they're all seen from the point of seeing, aren't they?
What was clear is that there was no intentional activity on my part. I was not doing anything. It was just taking place through this body. And I was learning also, being educated by this presence inside. It was like
your teacher.
It was like there was more sense like this. But it wasn't that I felt I'm in non-duality or anything like this. I really felt that God had picked me up, kind of stuff. And very, very fortunate. And it wasn't until going to India that this kind of merging of ego sense took place. Before, I felt a lot of stuff is burning, a lot of identification is burning, in the way in which self-perception of on the level of being a person and progressing, as all of that was beginning to burn off, just in different ways, different encounters with different people also, just spontaneously. Things would come and, smash, break up.
Just clear that layer out.
Chunks of that you were not even aware that you
had. You were carrying.
It was like that.
Did you feel any attachment to these manifestations when they...
Yes, at first some powers came, and you want to
have them.
They were there, I didn't have. They're just there. They came, but there was an interest, a little bit to somehow have them in a more durable sense, like they were there with you all the time or something like this for a bit, and then always something would come, either through someone speaking to me or see something or whatever, and I would recognize that the best thing was to let it go, just to say let it go.
Do you mean like cities?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just let them go.
I've carried for most of my life until very recently an idea through being with Osho, through reading, through having contact with enlightened masters, that this linear idea, you practice lives and meditations, there comes and there'll be some big fire, some big quaking, like and like Osho, he fell out of a tree and then boof, then ping, and oh, you're enlightened. And that's gone. That's gone.
Yes.
And I can see how these ideas have just been preventing me from just accepting and being and who and what I am.
Yes. Yeah, we want it to be an event.
Yes, and you want it to be an announcement.
Like, okay, now you're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Everything is going to be fine.
It was going to, a kind of validation that, this is it or something.
Or like before it happened, there'd have to be some great crisis or breakdown or something.
Yeah, that's also a common...
Just no, so it doesn't seem relevant, all this.
Yes.
But it seems that that's the story we hear also.
And it's very difficult for most people to give it up.
Yeah.
You can't give it up, because it's used as a kind of measuring stick against your other experiences.
Yeah.
You will always come up short in a way of this.
Yeah.
So the idea of really checking in and not finding anyone there not appealing, placed against this kind of like, you know, the sky's opening up or something, you know, like happening like this. But besides all of that, some force draws you because somehow it's your time. Something is sufficiently ready and the way is being prepared for you. And by consciousness, it's happening like this. And you simply find your way. You could not have written the script for it. You're only looking back and say, my God, you know, I knew nothing about that would come. It just simply arose like this. It's like an encounter that seemed like purely chance, pure chance. But look what came out of it. And you think, but, you know, I could not look at this life and say, well, it shouldn't have been how it is, or it could have been another way. It seemed like it could. It's unavoidably what it is, and yet it was triggered by such seeming coincidence.
Yes.
And then you begin to appreciate that there is a power that is moving, independent of your own personal projection, and you can something begins to trust that,
to relax into
and
it.
to let the seeing and the recognition of that come to its full measure, you know.
And the recognition that all the things that I've experienced, and especially the suffering, have brought me to the understanding of what I'm beginning to understand now, especially the suffering, not the good bits.
This feeling of suffering or struggle is really like when you season some fish or something like this, and you cut it and you rub the seasoning inside the wounds, so it can marinate, you know. And it comes some grit, some power, some depth come out of you. You don't do it on just beautiful, sweet experiences, and we're really grateful for that, for the bite of these experiences. And many people are afraid that, oh my God, it's going to be too much, it's going to be overwhelming, and the change is going to be too big, I won't be able to go back, and all of this takes place in the mind. But if you were only to pay attention to the actuality of the experience and be quiet with it, you'll see that everything is moving. It's like you're not just moving as one person, but it's almost like an whole environment is moving with you to support things. Energies are coming in and joining your flow. You see, it's not just one body moving to the right place. It's like a whole thing is there, and inwardly you feel carried. You know, the sense that, but something is taking care of this. Not in a way that the mind could really wish or project, but only when you're silent away from the mind, because there's no real freedom for the individual. I mean, there's freedom from the individual. There's no ego. There's no freedom for the ego. There's freedom from the ego.
That's the biggest misconception. Not getting what you said.
It's that I, the individual, will be free, but
I will get So something is freed from that. When that drops away, then one finds that is what is real freedom.
And when you're experiencing so clearly and thoroughly being carried and being moved, it's very hard to discuss that with someone who has no concept of what you're talking about. Because I remember a long time ago, one time when I was really being pulled to satsang, and I was saying I was spending more time away from my wife than I had ever spent, and I had gone to many retreats and things, but at this point, it was actually with Gangaji, a couple of weeks ago, and she said, you know, you're spending all this time, you're spending this money, and you're not discussing it with me. Usually we talk about things. I feel like you're making these choices without any discussion. And I said, I know it seems like I'm making these choices, honey, but I'm really not. You know, they're just really happening. She says, yeah, sure they are. They're just really happening. Don't give me that shit, you know. But she did get it. And it was really the same with, you know, when I was moved to come to this. I don't know how I all of a sudden decided to come here for the weekend. You know?
It seems sometimes that the world, you know, it requires of you to explain yourself.
Yes.
And if you buy into that, you find that there's no power in your expression. It's not true. It's not how it is. You know. And but if you say how it is, it's not acceptable. It's like no, come on, you're keeping something.
What's really going on?
Yes, because you feel like there has to be a you to make things go on.
Yes.
And when you're seeing that somehow you are not something is going on in me. It's going on in me. I'm not the one going on. Something is going on. I'm aware of it. Something is, this body is being carried. This life expression is unfolding in this.
Yeah.
But
my wife said at that point, I feel like I'm in second place here, and you're married.
Yeah.
We've been 21 years married then, long time. Now 35. And she said, I feel like you're married to something else ahead of me. And I said,
yeah. Sorry.
I have to say it's true.
Yeah.
Thank God she expanded and let it all be. But it was willing to let the marriage go 21 years because it was right on the table. Because I knew I had to do this. And her friends thought I'm having an affair with somebody. Because he's going away, he doesn't know when he's coming back. What is he going to hear?
He's having an affair.
What is he going to hear? I mean, hasn't he heard everything already? You know, and it's not about hearing things. It's about deepening and bathing and dissolving. It's not about getting more information. But, you know, the people with a mental mind, they said, well, you must have already gotten the information.
Yeah.
So that is clearly not in charge, huh?
You're relaxing in that, in this seeing, and to be free from the intimidation of feeling that one has to explain this.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
that blows off,
Yeah.
and it leaves a quiet comfort in subtleness in yourself. Because if you feel a sort of subtle pressure that you have to justify how you're being different from everyone else, then in a sense you're not allowing yourself to land in yourself.
Yeah.
There's still, you know, one eye closed, one eye open to see who is going to upset me now, or who I've got to.
Right.
So this, all this, they quietly, all these bubbles quietly reach the surface, they pop and they disappear of themselves.
Well, for me, it was, you know, I was on a path for a long time, and I always felt uncomfortable about talking about it, and it seemed that whenever there was a conversation about it, it would be confrontational in a way, or, you know, I felt like being attacked personally. But since moving more with you, I feel, because of the gratefulness and the joy, it's just really easy. And people ask, oh, where'd you go? I went to see, you know, a guru, and never in a million years would have said that. And I guess they just feel what's behind, and they most of the time they don't ask, and they're
this
okay.
This is the difference. This is the difference, because you are comfortable with who you are now. You see? Otherwise, there's something inside that just feels like I've let the side down, and I hold them an explanation because I'm the odd one out, or something like this. For many people, they feel
no,
like
it
this,
doesn't feel like that anymore.
But out of your joy, you said the word, you know, out of your joy. And you can speak more relaxed, and somehow they sense the vibration that is authentic, that you're not trying to pretend or put something over on them. You're just where you are at. And like this, no one will challenge you, in fact.
That seems
because you're in truer ground.
Yeah.
This is what will happen. And as you begin to feel rested in yourself, centered in yourself, you'll find that you can speak with people if they are open and available to that. And even sometimes to redirect the energy into other channels, to go to deeper places with them gradually, as much as they can take. Just something. And when not, you can leave it. All these very subtle and subtle perception. So this is very important. And then those who would want to challenge you, if you are centered in yourself, they cannot challenge you.
They can't attack.
No, they don't have any power. It's like, it's just not how it works. They will only challenge you. If you're not true, then they'll have the power to challenge you. But if you're true, they cannot challenge you, you see, because somehow it's like the light that comes from the truth, it's too much. It's like they don't have the energy to go against it. So something either just keeps quiet, they leave it, or they somehow allow themselves to be present with you. If you don't want to convert anybody, if you don't want to demonstrate how you are with anyone, then that is the most effective, because it's like you're not taking credit for anything, you're not making it your task. You're just yourself. You move. You just move in your own place.
Yeah. This is easy when it's just the world and the people on the streets. When it comes to family and people very intimate, then it's more challenging. But I'm finding now, I'm since before I met you 3 years ago, I'm in a relationship with a woman. She doesn't speak any English. She's Spanish, so she's not heard your words. She doesn't really understand self-inquiry. But it's just come to the point where it's fine. She doesn't think I'm weird going off to India to see a guru anymore. The first couple of years she was really like very Spanish about it. And I'm not going to be, trying to translate what I've learned being with you to something that she can digest. It's just as it is. It's okay. It's not. There's not a conflict.
It's very good. It's a natural way, and somehow you allow the space for people to be themselves. That they don't have to feel that they have to be like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they can relax and really allow a space inside themselves to see you.
Yeah.
And when they can really begin to see without the threat that their mind presents,
yes,
something begins to act upon themselves in their own way, without any expectations. It happens. But it's a natural way of life. It's not even like a choice you make. It's like if you're in an environment, you will be somehow influenced by the energies around you. And if someone is there not trying to test you out or to push, but just being themselves, and that self is centered in peace and love, it's a powerful attraction to someone.
Yeah.
And initially there might be a fight or resistance because the mind puts up everything to say, listen, to demonize it.
Yes.
To say, no, you see, you're very different these days. I don't see you smiling like you used to be.
They'll find something.
Trying to find a way to creep into to a place where you can feel unsure about yourself, because their mind is threatened by your change.
Yes.
By the light they see inside. And if you somehow succumb to that type of pressure, then the energies will go until they can overcome you.
So within the movie, you were talking about relationships, 3 years. Within the movie level, for me, I'm married 35 years. We have a lovely home. Our finances are intermingled. There's a huge part of the personality that was identified, or has been identified in the role of a husband and a partner. 35 years, a long time. And in making the decision to make this trip, and then making the trip involves money, time away from work, travel, airplane tickets, and everything. And then the partner's saying, well, it's fine that you have this, but look at the major impact all of this is having or could have. So just trying to stretch that out from 3 years to 35 years. And yet the decision is, everything you said is totally applicable to the situation, that I had to just say, this is what I have to do. This is my love. This is my heart. And if it means, I had to say to myself, if it means not being with this woman who I love very, 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 very much, if it means that following my heart means not being with this woman, then I'm not supposed to be with this woman.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's a biggie. It's not a smallie. It's a It's a biggie. But
there's a clarity in that. There is something in that, and it's a great power to know that if it comes to it, there's no contest, and you would walk.
Yeah.
And that is a tremendous power, and it's good for her and you to know that. Because if you put yourself, well, okay, if we have to compete, then I'm really going to struggle there. Then you really have let yourself down.
Yes.
The fact you know something inside that here is not a place that can be compromised. It just cannot be compromised.
Yes. Yes.
And if you put yourself up against that, you will fall. You will lose. You cannot.
There's no.
You cannot test me against this.
Yeah.
Because this is not something. It's not a decision I make. is what I am.
No,
This is exactly what I wrote an hour and a half email. Exactly what you just said to my wife a day and a half ago. I must do this. There is no choice. This is who I am. There is nothing.
There's no rational argument you can put against that.
But there is nothing more important than this. And I only hope that you can take my death and expansion as an invitation into your own death and expansion into truth. And I think it's...
I feel it's important, and it's a very, very important gate to go through in a relationship with anyone. That not that you take them and demonstrate and rub their face in it, but when that moment comes, a defining moment, that you don't back down and sort of like bend your tail or something, that you can say. But
sit in that.
It might sound difficult to hear it, and I don't mean it as a strike. But I just have to declare to you.
For myself, I know what is the most important. But I'm here incarnated in this body.
And I would defend the importance. If that was for you also, I would completely bend and honor that, because I know that if that is taken from you, having found this, then you are nothing, and I cannot be. I would not support you to be nothing from the mental point of view, from the emotional point of view.
It's selling out your true self. You're selling out.
Yes. And believe it or not, it happens.
Yeah.
Well, somehow, it's a strange thing to say it happens. That sometimes, I can raise a few stories around that.
Really?
Yes, of someone just dropping their tail and
sad.
going along, and you're just watching. You're watching a living death. That's what you do. You watch a living death.
Exactly.
There's something there. There's something there that is afraid to be without what it feels like they've already got.
Yes.
And yet they're not enjoying it. They're not enjoying it. But there's a kind of thing. It's on the same par with what I said. The feeling of feeling something is missing but cannot be identified. But there is something here that I'm afraid to let go. But if I look at anything and break it down piece by piece, there's nothing that I want to keep. I can let it go.
Exactly.
But still there's this feeling the feeling of either to be alone or to be desolate and not whatever it is that it portrays in the mind. And you say yes to that. And if you say yes to that long enough, then you are dying in that yes. Yes, it can be like this.
It seems like, the idea that the source of happiness can come from outside.
Yes.
It seems like love, romance, sex, this thing that people have is the one that they get nearly everybody I see in my past myself caught on, that love will make me happy, love will fulfill me. This I finally got some years ago, that no relationship's going to bring me happiness. And when I've explained to my partner that, with care, not brutally, that the most important thing in my life isn't my relationship. It's my understanding of the nature of my true self and reality, which happens to be at the moment being through Satsang and being with you. She doesn't yet get that, but now she accepts it and sees that it's not a threat, so she's not fighting it, which is great. I just leave it there now.
She knows it's not a hostile.
You offered space for that adjustment to take place. Because it is a very strong impact on the identity, the ego of being a partner or being, I should be the most important thing in your life.
Exactly.
This happens for many people, and I don't even want God to be that important actually to you. But probably you don't say that, but it's like,
That's
I
what
don't
you want.
Yes, it's like you want to be the most important, and it really has got nothing really to do with love.
No.
That's possessiveness.
It is to do with a sense of, to be seen, to be, it's just a ego food. To be seen like, nothing can compete with me for you. I've got to be the biggest thing in your eyes. And so it's a very strong thing. And if the people in your life can hear you say that and see that you don't slam the door in the face and run away, but that you're here, but you're honoring who you are.
No hostility. But faith to the truth.
Yes. Then you allow them to grow up to a higher place within themselves.
Yes.
Because if somebody tells you, you're it for me, you're it.
Right. You're in trouble.
There's no aspiration for you to go anywhere, you know.
Exactly.
It's like that.
Also, it's from another angle, feels like enormous responsibility to know that I'm the source of someone's happiness or unhappiness.
Yeah, so much
really
pressure.
I'd rather not feel that at all.
Yes, yes.
Once you see that nobody, no thing, no achievement, no possession, and no place is going to make you happy. When you see that,
or at least it cannot keep you happy. You might feel okay. You feel a sort of a joy with that, but you know at some point, if you are intelligent and you have that intelligence and you're willing to be open, if you're open enough to look, you have to deny that it's not giving me happiness.
Yeah.
It's not that's giving me happiness.
Yeah.
The happiness, the source of the happiness is something else.
Yeah,
I'm attributing it to that, but you'll see if your eyes are open enough that I cannot admit that is true. The happiness is from my own self.
yeah. I think I'm going to poodle off back to North London.
Yes. And
we will space back.
This is good.
Beautiful satsang. Beautiful.
Very good.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Very good.
This would be so good for so many to understand about relationship, because it's not understood what you just outlined. It's not truly understood by very many.
I think it takes. There's a part of us that don't want to hear that.
No, of course.
For a while, let's say that there is a phase, a stage, along our journey back into ourself, where there's a resistance to really seeing that for what it is.
Yes.
Because the mind creates so much demonizing around it, so much ostracizing about it, so much to lose about it, that we just say no. It's like, that's not it for me. That's not my path. My path is to find happiness here. This is my purpose. This is what God made me for. Is for this.
Yeah.
You'll do everything to create a make-believe, identity and purpose, to avoid just to be who you are.
Yes. It's amazing.
And this game goes on, part 1, part 2, part 3, until it just runs out of parts.
At some point there's a switch over, what gets most attractive in someone else is their sense of freedom. That,
yes.
Like for me, if you see someone that's bound, that's not attractive. You don't want to spend your
for some people it's like their ego would like to see that they are the most important thing in someone else's life. But if they become the most important thing in someone else's life, they lose respect for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you're cheap. How could you make me the most important? Oh, you see?
Yeah.
It's such a
But it's so common.
Look at you. You think that I am, because something inside how can you make me the most important? Go get a life. And you have so much energy nothing must compete with that. It's there. It's like, no.
You don't even want it,
Yeah, it's not. You never wanted it. You just, wanted to have that taste.
It's amazing what we humans actually get up to, and it's amazing the ridiculousness. My own story, and I guess everybody's story, the illusion and the things you have to go through to actually understand. It's incredible.
The consciousness in its human expression is quite something. But through that avenue, that realm, that aspect of consciousness in its play, it will use that it will become a mirror for itself to see what it's not.
Yeah.
Because it's really mostly the only mirror it really has. It has to, again, look at everything, all the words, all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the memories have got to become mirrors for it to kind of recognize, it's always been here. I've been projecting on everything else. I've been spraying my scent on everything else. but in the end, it's all been here.
Yeah.
It's just here, and it's a joyful recognition when we're ready to see that, to embrace that.
Sense of enormous relief.
Yes,
Yes. Well, Bhagwan made a lovely example. He said it's like sitting under a tree, and it's very in the shade, and the hot sun is piping away, burning away, and then going out and sitting in the sun, and then getting burnt and sweaty and pained and thirsty, and then coming back in the shade and going, wow, it's so nice to be here. This is where you were. So this is how somehow we go out, and so you have a suntan, you get burned, everything, you come back and say, wow, it's great to be in the shade. It's the contrast, the attraction to the contrast.
Yeah.
And an inevitable attraction that makes this play of the human existence what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have to transcend that seeing, that play.
Yeah. Separate to come back to itself.
Yeah.
Ourself.
To see that it's been, in the end, all a dream.
Yeah.
And this dream realization, this dream seeing, actually is something very tangibly seen inside.
Yes.
When we say it's a dream, it doesn't mean it's dreamy. It doesn't mean dreamy, smoky. No, we're dreaming in the sense that everything is only as it occurs in the mind and how it's been interpreted, and it has no life of its own apart from the meaning you imbue in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that this thing, you know, like I was saying before, that a thought is not aware of itself. It doesn't think itself. It's not like thoughts have individual autonomy to act upon you.
No.
It's just that they arise and something from you take hold of them, and then some combine with their suggestibility, but you supply the energy to them.
Yeah.
And as soon as we recognize that,
yes.
you know, you are again back in your power. You reclaim your power because you see that, well, it's not that this thing has power over me, but I give it power. We don't realize that, you know, that in some way, consciously or unconsciously, you're giving it power. So these are the insights that is really returning our understanding to the source self. You know?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Something so simple as just not believing what I think all the time, just not taking it seriously. When one thought comes along, goes and another thought comes along, goes and it's the opposite. And I think I've just thought, okay, especially with relationship, I just thought that one. I should end this relationship. Oh, I'm happy to be with this person. When it does that, how can you take this seriously? How can I pay any attention to this kind of stuff? It's obviously, you know, if it flies about like that with such extremes, it has no real meaning whatsoever. And I don't know, it's so simple.
You have come to see the simplicity, the naivety, sometimes the foolishness, the playfulness, the mischief, the illusoriness, all of this. And then you can say, it's so simple.